Ranked 2.0 is a major point of contention right now within the Siege community because a lot of people don't seem to like it. There's a lot of talking points as to why this may be. I'm sort of going to just be giving my thoughts, my 2 cents of it as a player who's played the game for over 5 years now with every possible degree of skill that could be obtained from copper to champion to competitive level. And these are the points I'm going to be going over. I think there are too many champions in the game. It's too grindy. Your skill means nothing, and your rank means nothing. My solution, spoiler alert, would be to add in new rank, sort of like Overwatch, add like Grand Champion or top 500, top 1000 even, and to rework the skill system the way the game match makes you. So firstly, to come sort of talk over my first point of there being too many champions. Well, Varsity Gaming made a great video, a pretty good video actually, about how many champions there are in the game right now. And I think nothing points to this problem more than this right here. There are over 10 times as many champions in the game than there were at the end of Ranked 1.0. That is absolutely unacceptably awful. There just should be no universe where there are this many champions in the game. That completely ruins the ranked pool. It completely negates the allure and charm of having champion in the first place. It completely takes away from its uniqueness if everybody has it. What's the point of being champion if everybody is champion? And this point doesn't really need too much talking about. It's just way too easy to get the rank. There are more champions than there are diamonds in the game. That is just absolutely unacceptable. Almost like that just makes no sense. Well, almost more diamonds. I think it's like maybe like 0.5% more, but still, it's just ridiculous. Like that's just way too many. It just makes no sense. It needs to be harder to get the champion, but not necessarily too more grindy because it's already immensely grindy for some people. I sold the champion this season in about 55 games. I think maybe it'll say it on here somewhere. It's around 55 games. That is not a lot, but I have seen some people still getting the same MMR or same rank points. I think I only won because I won so many games. It rewards you off of winning games, and I'll get into that later. But they need to change how you get champion. And I'm going to get into that in a second because the way it is right now, it's way too easy to get. It makes no sense why everybody can get champion. It just shouldn't be that way. It negates the whole purpose of being champion in the first place. Now, I've never been a fan of thinking that your rank is representative of your actual skill in the game. And I'm not saying skill as in how Ubisoft defines skill because that's just not what skill is. I'm more defining skill as things I will go over shortly, but I've never thought that your rank meant much to begin with, but now it really means nothing because anybody can be any rank, and it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matchmake you with people of your similar skill level, so there's no point in really, if you're trying to get better at the game, you're going to have a harder time adjusting to different playstyles and different lobbies because it's so uncertain as to who you'd be playing in each game. So it's hard to improve. It's hard to learn. And overall, it's just not a very good environment to be playing the game in at the moment, the way it's currently set up. And that's my next point, is that your skill means nothing in the game. Your skill, if you'll see right here, and this is the Ubisoft dev blog that they posted about Rank 2.0, your skill, what previously known as MMR, will be hidden and will be used for matchmaking. Your skill represents your ability to win a game. Comparing two teams' skills gives you the probability that one team will win against the other. The higher the difference, the more likely a given team is going to win. When two teams with the same skill levels are matched up with each other, they both have an equal shot at winning. The algorithm is supposed to assign two values to each player, an estimation of their skill, and the uncertainty of this estimation. This is really where my problem lies. The update of your skill as a player has not changed with the new system. meaning that the skill is updated solely on the outcome of your match. What this means is, and it says it a little earlier, what this means is your skill is just what your rank was before, rank 2.0. That is what you are getting match made with. That is how they are finding the matches. That's how you're getting into the lobbies that you're getting in. It's because those players have similar MMR as you, not a similar rank as you. They claim that it is not too different of a discrepancy between skill and rank. They say it in here somewhere. I don't feel like pulling it up again. I mean, is it here? I don't remember. Which I think is complete and utter cap. They don't show it anywhere. I really don't think that's the case, because I've looked at in every single lobby I've played on console. I looked everybody up in R6 Tracker, and they were completely different ranks. So it leads me to wonder, how are they matchmaking it really? Is it really just your win-loss? Is it really just the MMR? Because that's what it was the last season. And by last season, I mean Brutal Swarm. Last season of Ranked 1.0. So if that's really it, then how is it possible that you're still getting match made with people still not even in your same skill? That doesn't make much sense to me. And you can see it. You can do this for yourself. The next couple games you play of Siege, look up the other enemies on R6 Tracker and see how different and unique the lobby it really is. How different all the players are from one another. It really is strange how your rank is not representative of any of these metrics that they're indicating here. So it leads me to wonder, what is the point of the rank in the first place? It doesn't prove anything. It just shows how many games that you've played, how many games that you've won. But it already says here that the only thing that it tracks is how many games you've won in the first place. It doesn't track, what you do to win the games. It doesn't track, your callouts, what operators you play, your site selection, your site setup, your diffusers planted, your diffusers counters diffused, things of that nature, utility usage. It doesn't count any of that stuff, which I would say is far more important than whatever they're doing here, which is just winning the round or winning the game. It doesn't even count rounds won. Doesn't count 4-0s, doesn't count 4-1s, doesn't count, anything like that. And that's my first solution, is to change the skill itself and to add those things. Maybe not to be a massive factor. Obviously, winning is still the most important thing, but not every win is equal. Sort of like in basketball, not every championship is equal to one another as valuable. Each win is completely different. An easy win is not as valuable as a hard-fought victory in most cases. So really they have the numbers. They have the ability to track this data because they do it for pro players. And Varsity Gaming Store touches on this cost. KOST, something else, I think. Talking about trades, the rounds that you win, the rounds that you're alive for, the objective-based stuff, how many diffusers you plant, how many diffusers you counter-diffuse and win the round or lose, your kills. And we don't want to go completely, on the edge of KD. I've got my KD on PC may not be that good, but my KD on console is like 2.0. So we don't want it to go that crazy. We don't want that to have a massive impact, but it needs to have some impact. It needs to either make it so that you win more rank points or you lose less. Because the way it is now of just winning and just losing is no different than the last system, but just with a completely different coat of paint on it that makes it less rewarding and less fun to actually sit through and play. So that's really my first thing is to change skill and to really update what that means, update the parameters of which it's being calculated, and then to apply that to the players. And I think that there will be a major difference once that is done, because you'd be surprised at how many bad champions there are. And this sort of ties back to, there are too many champions. There are too many people who are getting this rank. Let's go back to that picture that Varsity had. So there were 10 times more champions on each platform. That should be That should be enough of my point. But you know, there weren't 20,000 champions before, and that's not enough time between one season for 20,000 people or 18,000 people to just get better at the game. That's just not possible. So it's very clearly not representative of your actual ability to play at that level, or the level that is uh, viewed to be the highest level. Because imagine how the real champions feel in playing with these 18,000 other people. It's not good. Let me tell you. That's probably why I steamrolled all of my games. It's because just because you win your games doesn't necessarily mean that you are contributing to winning them, or that you are uh, winning them out of skill per se. And it doesn't help that you're winning more rank points than you're losing. So even if you lose 3 games in a row, as long as you win 1, you're going to make all that back and then some. And that's really and I don't mind that in theory, but you end up getting outcomes like this. They're just completely warped, completely skewed, and are not representative of the actual skill of these players. Not that, being champion's the end all be all of having fun in the game. At the end of the day, it's a game. You're supposed to be having fun. You're supposed to be enjoying yourself. But ranked right now is just not fun. And that's sort of what this video is all about. Obviously, your rank doesn't really mean anything still. It still wouldn't be, unless somehow they find a way to calculate every single possible intangible in the game that you could do to contribute to a win, which is impossible. Then your rank will always not be the most, what's the word? Trustworthy source as to determining how good you are at the game. It's the eye test that you really have to pay attention to. You really have to watch these people play and really play games with them. So that's really the biggest problems I have with it. Too many champs, too grindy, your skill is bad, and your rank overall ends up meaning nothing. But if they add in a new rank, making it so that once all these champions, like the 2,000 people who were champion, they got champion in like the first day, and then that was it. What else is there to grind for? There's nothing left. It's grindy for everyone else, but for them, it's like, they get it right away because they're winning all their games because they're playing against people who don't deserve to be in those lobbies. And then what? It doesn't feel rewarding. It doesn't feel good. It's too easy. And then meanwhile, people on the other end of the spectrum are playing games that are, where's that graph again? There are people like this who are getting like hard stuck into these ranks. You don't want to have this. You want to have a bell curve. You don't want to have it be completely even and then down and then up again. That's the exact opposite of what you want. You don't want it to be this way. This is the exact opposite of what you want it to look like. And that's exactly what this rank system was supposed to defeat, was to defeat the idea or the possibility of people being hard stuck. And I'm guessing that these are people who just played one game and then never played again, or something like that, didn't play enough. I don't know. But, you don't want to have it so that people are still getting hard stuck because they're, actual bronze players who are playing against golds and platinums, who are actually better than them. That's not fun. That's not fair. That doesn't make any sense. That's the risk you run of doing skill, of matchmaking basing off of skill. And again, Ubisoft doesn't tell us any of these things, so all we have to go off of is what they put in these dumb blogs that are vague and dataless. So at the end of the day, it's really just about transparency between the company and its community, and listening to what we're talking about, and not bending the knee to players who only care about achieving a fancy looking charm or a fancy looking number on their screen to have it say, oh, you're the 6,410th best player on PC. Like, no, like that's not real. Like, only a fool would actually think that I'm the 6,410th best player on this platform. That is nonsense. That's ludicrous. That's absolutely preposterous. Nobody would ever think that. Now, when I was the 244th best number ranked champion, like a couple seasons ago, I certainly felt better than I do now. And that is a higher number than this, but there are a million more champions than there are this season. So take that for what you will too. I felt more accomplished being 244 out of 2,517 or actually this was 2 seasons after, uh, but I'm sure the numbers were around the same. Then I feel, being 6,000 out of 20,000. That I'm sure I don't need to explain the idea of that. So that's really the gist of it, of why I think Rank 2.0 is kind of a catastrophe within the community. I do like some of the things that they have. I like the idea of being able to always improve and the idea of always able to rank up, but that all means nothing if you're not actually getting better. You're not actually playing against better people. You're not actually, learning anything. And you're playing in these wishy-washy lobbies of just people running around with like chickens with their heads cut off, shooting at each other. There's no real, these lobbies are not balanced. So it all kind of means nothing. I really like that you can play with friends. I've always liked that because I mainly play Siege with my IRL friends, unless I'm actually trying to get to a high rank. No offense to them. And I really like the demotion shield. This is another thing that's sort of contributing to the problem, but not as much as I think people make it out to be. I really like that there's a shield to it. You get one chance to not lose your rank, and then you go down. I think that that's good. I wish that you just lost less, after a quicker amount of time. And I've never liked placement matches. I've never liked that. I've never been a fan of any of that stuff, but it's fine. But there is something that I do hate, and it's replacing your skill. They won't reset your skill. Once you're in that skill, you're going to start that skill every time. And it most certainly does not feel as though it will be easy to change. And I think the system is too young to sort of really get an idea of what that is going to be like. But I really don't think that's going to be good, because it says that you already know your skill level and you'll be matched against similar opponents. We know that is cap. We know that they are not similar opponents. They have similar skill, but not like actual skill, like skill the way they define it, which, as we have already discussed, doesn't really mean anything. So imagine that. Imagine now. This isn't a great example, but imagine. Let me look up this account. Let me find one of my accounts I play with my friends on, and I'll give you this idea here. No, that's not my account name. Damn, I don't know. I don't remember what my account name is. Well, that sucks. But either way, in one of my accounts, I'm Plat 3 with a 2.0 KD. Are you telling me that I'm going to be stuck in Plat 3, dominating Plat 3s for the rest of my Siege career? Is that what you're trying to tell me? You already know my skill? How do you rank up your skill? How do you change your skill? Do you just win more games? Well, that can't be right, because I'm already winning. I already have like a 1.5 win percentage on that account, but I'm only getting 25 elo a game, but I'm also losing 25 elo a game. So how am I going to be match made against champions and diamonds if I win more games but not actually increase my rank? What is the sense of that? Then I'm just playing, and I was already playing at that skill level. So what would be the point then? Then it's like the opposite problem. I'm playing against higher level people, but I don't have the rank to show for it. But then again, those people might not actually be deserving of that rank in the old system and whatnot. We can get into that conversation all day. So, and that's another big problem that I feel like lower ranked people are going to have. They're going to feel stuck in their rank because they're going to be playing against the same people every single season, even if they're winning more. And that I think is the real problem. They're not going to feel as though they can rank up or skill up, I guess, if you want to call it like that, without some major changes to how they define skill in the first place. So those are really my big issues. That's really getting to the gist of it. I think a new rank and changing the way that they calculate skill would massively improve all of this. I really do think so. And if they make more of the elements less grindy, maybe reward you off of game. It's basically just the battle pass, but just make it for ranked. Just make it like a ranked battle pass. Give you rewards and the charm and stuff from the games you play, not necessarily your rank. And then obviously keep the card backs and the charms for the rank, but everything else you don't need to be rewarded for the way it is now. It just doesn't feel rewarding to play it. So just do it off of a different way. Make it about playing against similarly skilled people, actual skilled people, so that you can improve, get better, and actually feel like you're progressing and moving towards something, achieving something with how you're learning the game. That's what Siege is all about. It's a tactical game. It's not about, achieving a shiny badge with a number on it. That's not what it's ever been about. That's just been a representation of your growth as a player. But now all of that is meaningless. And that, I'm sure I don't need to say, is not good for the future of the game. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know in the comments if you have any ideas, any better suggestions than I do. I'm sure there are better suggestions out there. I just can't really think of anything with concrete evidence or anything else that would really fix the problems at hand. But let me know if you guys think of anything else. Let me know what you think of rank 2.0. Are you one of those hard stuck people I was talking about? Have you reached champion? Have you reached a higher rank than you've ever had before? Are you lower ranked than you've ever been before? Let me know. I'm really interested to know. There aren't very vocal parts of the community that are of that orientation. Those lower ranked people aren't as vocal as the higher ranked people. So I want to make sure that everyone's getting their just representation and getting their voices heard. I'd love to hear what you guys have to think about it.